On this Tuesday night, it's a busy week in Crewville. And it's time to get some things corrected, isn't it, Dwight?
It is time to get some things corrected. It's fine when you're barely giving up any goals at all to not score many. But it's twice now this season they've allowed 3 against. And at home, complicates things.
Portland Timbers come in and wreck the unbeaten run. Crew had not lost at Mafre Stadium since last June when Atlanta United took them down. First win for the Timbers. It's this topsy-turvy world of Major League Soccer that we live in. Makes no sense. Vancouver beats LAFC. Portland can't get a sniff. They're giving up goals by the bushel-full. Keep the Crew to just with 1. Pedro Santos had that. We'll hear from him a little bit later on in this segment. Mentioned it's a busy week. Quick turnaround. Teams lost 2 in a row. They've played well in a lot of those moments. But again, it's about the goals. Just 8 in the first 8 games of the season. DC United tomorrow. One of the great rivalries going back to the early days of the league. Dave Johnson's going to join us. It's in the net.
It is in the net.
He'll be with us. And then we'll talk Houston Dynamo with Eddie Robinson, who is a pretty damn good player in his own right. Dynamo TV analyst and also an assistant coach for the Houston Dash. Houston's off to a good start at 4-1-1. So it doesn't get easy. This is where the schedule, where teams have gotten some points, now fall. And for Columbus, Dwight, before we hear from Caleb Porter and his thoughts about how they've prepared for what's tomorrow, it's essentially a home and home with DC and Houston in between. And let's not forget the new playoff structure where home field takes priority. You want to fit 2, 3, and 4. Number 1 seed gets the bye. These are very vital games, not even 2 months into the season.
You head into a stretch of 3 games in 8 days, knowing that only 1 is within the conference, but 2 are at home. That's where your priorities come in. So obviously, to my mind, you're focusing everything on the DC United game, but you can't really do that fully because you've got to play Portland prior to it. But if you get the understood points, the 3 out of both, so 6 points in those first 2 games, then you make adjustments, for Houston. Now you lose at home. It is a conference game, and Houston is waiting. I think you've got to go on Wednesday with your best. DC's got 1 day less rest, which would be different if this was the following Saturday. They played Sunday afternoon, so they have 24 fewer hours to recover. I think you go at it. I think you get what you need to get to do what you need to do and collect 3 points and then worry about Houston.
I jumped right into the thick of the action. Did you have a good Easter?
How could you not have a good Easter? I did.
Yeah. Turned out to be a nice day. I hope everyone had a great Easter.
It's actually weather-wise been a really good spring for the most part, except on Saturdays.
Yeah. And if you're celebrating Passover, too, hope that's going well. Caleb Porter, his thoughts on what went wrong in the Portland game or what needs to be done going into tomorrow night against DC United.
Caleb, quick turnaround with the match on Wednesday. What was your message to the guys following Saturday?
We had a good meeting today. We looked at each other in the eyes and talked about the last game and looked at some film, and we're ready. These guys will be locked in, and they'll be ready. And, we have to move on quickly, obviously. Lots of good in the game, lots of things we need to do better. We have to keep growing, final third especially. We got a lot of things right in the execution. We didn't get the final third right and set pieces. Those are 2 moments that we have to be better in.
4-day turnaround for you, but only 3 for DC. Anything stand out in particular in terms of their formation, their lineup, just in general the challenges that they bring come Wednesday?
We've looked at obviously their games. We've analyzed them. We'll roll out a scouting report tomorrow. Today was mostly recovery for the guys that played. That's probably the most important thing, is to make sure guys are mentally and physically recovered. And then tomorrow we'll roll out the plan for DC. And it'll be a light session, and then we're back in. Best medicine for a loss is a win. And I know these guys are going to be hungry to do that in the next game.
That next game is tomorrow, 7:30, Mafre Stadium. 7 o'clock pregame. Chris Dorn is your radio play-by-play voice here on 97.1 The Fan. It's a busy week, too. 17 games, busiest slate to date. Of course, this 9-month carnival that we participate in. So, D.C. tomorrow, it's big because they come in first place, 14 points. They're 4-2-2. This is a team like Columbus, strong defensively to start, right? Shut out 3 opponents. Now they've been shut out 3 times in the last 4 games. Everyone's being carved up by LAFC, which happened, but they lost to New York City on Easter Sunday at home. You've got Rooney. He's the headline name. Lucio Acosta. A lot of rumors surrounding this guy. He was supposed to go in the offseason to PSG. It falls through. Lyon, Manchester United, like Zach Steffen, could be gone in the summer months. There are other suitors. Team with not a lot of depth, but it's not Benny ball anymore, is it? They're playing a lot of soccer.
Yeah.
The way they have come together, and it was a classic knockout round playoff game last year.
It's been quite impressive that the organization has shown such great patience and faith where Ben Olsen is concerned, because believe me, there were any number of opportunities for them just to move in a different direction, but they didn't. They chose to stand pat, and it's paid off. It just goes to show, Neil, when you talk about who's playing whom and who's losing to whom, it's this league, anybody can beat anybody, and you really can't be too surprised. Obviously, with Columbus, you want them to win every game they play, but they're not. Well, is it a surprise that Portland, all the trouble they've had scoring goals this year, sooner or later they were going to break out? There's too much talent on that team offensively. You don't want it to happen against you, but it did. So it's a long season. The big thing right now is they've been really good at home. I do agree with some of Caleb's comments. You and I talked about it during the broadcast. I think there was a lot of good stuff by Columbus against
First 30
Portland.
minutes, yeah, it was great.
And it reminded me of both Montreal and Philly. And those were games that Columbus lost, but probably could have won 20 minutes in had they just converted a couple of opportunities. So you just got to keep pushing away and see if you can't get the defense back on track.
And that's the way it's going for this team right now. They're in good positions, the final pass, but it's the execution. It's scoring the goal that puts them up, because the way they're playing right now, you get behind a goal, okay, they're in good shape still, even if they give up that goal in the set piece. But then the second goal comes 4 minutes later, and you're trying to play catch-up, and it's already an uphill climb with the way that the goal-scoring rate has been going. So,
yeah, I think
we're going to see how that develops tomorrow, and the crossing thing was kind of hit and miss on Saturday.
Well, I understand where he was coming from, and I don't think it's out of the world that could work. I think if you go back and look at some of the stuff, you and I spent a lot more time on that than most, but there were a couple of times, particularly in the first half, where they were getting the early crossing, but it was so early, there wasn't anybody in the box. And that stuff. But the second goal was the difference. Portland's going to break out at some point. There's no surprise that if they're going to score right now, it's going to be off a free kick. But that second goal, that was just a complete meltdown, defensively. No pressure on the service. Man standing wide open in the center of the box. We saw that, did we not? Just a couple of weeks ago at Monfrey Stadium on the shot from distance by New England that was parried wide. Yeah. But there was a rebound fella right in front of goal, unmarked, had the ball come back.
Pedro Santos got the goal, his second in 4 games, however they come. That was a nice chip. Antonella with an Easter basket gift. You take it any way you can get it. Great finish, second goal in 4 games. Caleb Porter, even Greg Berhalter talked about Santos. He's got it in him. Maybe he can take it to a couple of new heights. Got a chance to chat with him earlier this afternoon, leading into tomorrow night's game. The birthday boy yesterday. Happy birthday, Pedro. Here's his comments on his season so far. So what did you and the family do for your birthday?
Yeah, we do a little party with the family in my house and a little friends and teammates too.
Did you have a good one?
Yes, yeah. It was awesome.
What's a typical celebration like for a birthday in Portugal when you're at home?
Oh, it's just eat, talk to my friends and my family, pass a good day with him, and hear a little music too, and just little things.
What's your music go to? What do you like going into a game, on the way to the stadium, or just relaxing?
I like to hear everything, but I like a little rap, but the Portuguese rap. Yeah, or R&B too, and this.
I don't know too much Portuguese.
No?
I don't know too many Portuguese rappers.
It's almost the same than here, but in Portuguese it's almost the same. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun to hear this music, and I like to relax a little bit.
Well, you look relaxed. You've been playing well. Second goal in 4 games. First time you scored more than one in a crew uniform. How does that make you feel? A goal like that, a birthday goal, even in the loss. But What does that do for your confidence?
Yeah,
and we've talked about it before,
yes,
too.
Yes, I like to play here a lot because we have a lot of space and for the players is a good soccer. It's very good.
What's the benefit of having a guy like Artur who speaks Portuguese, and I know he speaks Spanish too, but helping out a guy like Robinho coming into the team, the ability to have that universal communication and to help them acclimate not just on the field but off of it?
Yes, I think when the player come here and he don't know the language and he didn't speak English, I think it's very important he have the teammates who can help him. And me and Arthur, we try to help him when the coach needs to talk to him, and or the other players wants to talk to him. We always try to help him. But he is a smart guy too, and he wants to learn the language. He wants to learn everything, and he accepts the things. And I think it's more a few months he could understand better the language.
You and the family, what do you enjoy most about Columbus and being here now for a couple of years?
I like the city because it's not a small city, because here everything is big. But compared for the other cities here in the United States, it's a family city, I think, and I like to walk with my family, go shopping, and when in the summer we can go to the pool, rest a little bit, and I like very, very good this city.
Were you able to get back to Portugal in the off season, or when's the last time you got to go home?
Yeah, we want to go Portugal, but before we want to go another place to rest a little bit.
I have to give a little editor's note. My SoundCloud just went to hell.
Well, nobody knows
my
what
phone. We had some good stuff there, soccer related. It's great to know Pedro as a person, and he is a wonderful guy. But he's acclimated well. Top 5 in the league in duels, fouls suffered. He does a lot of the little things. Now, if the goals start coming, and it's nice to see the second one put in on Saturday. That's just another element, because anywhere you can get goals in the midfield outside of Zardes right now is a welcome sign.
Absolutely. Talked with Will Trapp about that over the weekend. And does he feel like they're getting enough distribution of chances to become effective team? Pedro Santos doesn't need to score 10, 12, 14 goals. If he does, great. But he needs to get 5 or 6, and Pipa needs to get 5 or 6, and they need to get another 5 out of the other flank and a couple out of the defensive midfield role. I mean, they've got to disperse it. The way this team is set up, they have to get production from all points. They're not right now. That makes it a little bit easier at times to defend them because their teams are not terribly scared of Columbus offensively at the moment. They tend to pack it in, right, take away space. And make it that much harder. On the other hand, Columbus also has enough talent that you think if they have that breakout game like Portland did, that they may find the ability to start scoring more regularly.
Big one tomorrow at MAPFRE Stadium. Hope to see you out there. DC United. Anytime you see black and red, black and gold, it always takes you back to the early days of the league. $5 craft beer happy hour tomorrow with Wayne Rooney in town. Visit the website, columbuscrewsc.com, 447-CREW. to get your tickets. We're going to talk more about DC. Second best record in all of MLS since last July. No surprise, since Wayne Rooney arrived. 4-2-2 on this season. And we've got Dave Johnson, an MLS original like you, Dwight.
There's not many of us left. Most of us have died of old age.
We'll talk about another United, the original one, when we come back on Inside the Crew.
We are everywhere. On your radio, online, the Fan app, Alexa, and behind you in your car right now. Too creepy? Sorry. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Foreclosure, repossession, garnishment, end the madness now. The Law Office of Attorney Mark Herder is a debt relief agency that helps people file both Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 bankruptcy under the United States Bankruptcy Code. Call 444-LAW-0. That's 444-5290. Bankruptcy may relieve you from a financial crisis associated with an unexpected job loss, escalating medical bills, or a nasty divorce. Threaten utility shutoffs, out-of-control credit cards, and on top of that, student loan default. End the madness. End the madness now. Call attorney Mark Herter at 444-LAW-0. Bankruptcy may provide a dignified solution to your financial predicament. Call 444-LAW-0. That's 444-5290 today. Or visit online at markherter.com.
Common Man here for Diamonds Direct. You know Diamonds Direct prices are unbeatable every day, but this Friday through Sunday, they're even lower. That's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You've been hearing about this, the biggest store-wide sale of the year, bar none, Diamonds Direct's first ever spring event. 3 days of extra special value. This is huge. You save an extra 20% and more on rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, colored gemstones. Virtually everything is on sale. Yes, 20% below Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable prices. And the selection is like double the normal jewelry store. Entire designer collections have been flown in for this. Yes, I've been on the private plane with the jewelry. No, I wasn't. Brand new bridal and fashion jewelry from the best brands in the world, and it's all on sale. I'm on sale, too. You can take me home for a cheaper price. There's only one catch. It's 3 days only. This Friday, Saturday, and yes, even open on Sunday. Don't miss it. Best prices of the year. Diamonds Direct. Check them out on Polaris Parkway. DiamondsDirect.com.
The Clippers return home to Huntington Park on Tuesday, April 23rd. The homestand starts with a special Tuesday edition of the world-famous Sugardale Diamond Dog Night, and the first 1,000 fans receive a Jose Ramirez bobblehead, courtesy of Huntington Bank. First pitch Tuesday is 6:35 p.m. Wednesday goes to the dogs for a Puppy Palooza, presented by Pet People. Wednesday night, fans can bring their dog with them to the ballpark with advanced registration. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit ClippersBaseball.com. Clippers Baseball, this ship rocks.
If you wake up on Saturday morning and think to yourself, I miss those two dumb radio idiots, we've got you covered. Common Man and T-Bone Weekend, Saturday mornings at 10.
Presented by Kevin Kurgis and sponsored by Comfort Dental.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Business owners are able to run both their accounting and their payroll online using their smartphone, tablet, or desktop computer at PatriotSoftware.com. Since our software services are offered a la carte, you can choose between our basic or premium accounting software, and you can select our basic or full-service payroll. Either way, you and your accountant are going to be happy because Patriot's accounting and payroll software is inexpensive, easy to use, has no long-term contracts, and provides free U.S.-based support. Go to PatriotSoftware.com, use promo code RADIO, and get 2 months of accounting and payroll free. That's PatriotSoftware.com.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
There he is, in the left lane. Your secret, now maybe not so secret crush, Greg. Wait, are you wearing that scrunchie from spin class? It's okay, Karen. He's turned the other way, but just enough to see those baby blues. Wait, can he see you? Look away! BP gasoline with Invigorate helps clean your engine, giving you more miles per tank and more close calls per tank. BP, every day brighter. Versus minimum detergent gas. Average store 3 to 5 miles per tank with continuous use based on fleet testing and based on what you drive and how you drive.
In the new 2019 Acura ILX, control is yours for the taking. Take control of your phone with available Android Auto integration. Take control of the conversation with the striking Diamond Pentagon grille. And help keep things under control with Acura Watch Advanced Safety and Driver Assistance Technology. Standard. Put control in your hands and test drive the ILX today. The new 2019 Acura ILX. Total control.
Visit your Central Ohio Acura dealers. Proud partners of Columbus Crew SC.
50 million Americans live with a brain or spine condition. For all those people, at Ohio Health, we never stop. Turning crooked smiles into big grins after a stroke, and cautious steps into confident strides for those with Parkinson's disease. It's how we got to be one of the nation's 15 top health systems. Just like you never stop looking for answers, we never stop. Connect with us at ohiohealth.com/we never stop. Ohio Health Neuroscience. Believe in we.
Back to Inside the Crew. Here's Neil Sika and Dwight Burgess.
Whoa,
Tomorrow is already the 6th home game.
How about if I do that? 6 of the first 9 are at home, and then, 4 the next 6 are away?
Yeah.
Then you get that home stand, and then the second half of the season, it's Katie bar the door because they're gone all the time.
Hope you have your Southwest points ready. Time is running out to get your 2019 season memberships, and I bring up 6 home games because you can get 10 match plans. Well, there might not be 10 home games left if you wait too long. Get in on the action and check out all the options. ColumbusCrewSC.com. Before we get to Dave Johnson, it's interesting to see how people view a soccer game. Crew have dropped to 10th in the AEP power rankings. But the line is Columbus getting thoroughly outplayed at home by the winless Timbers. Did they watch the first 30 minutes?
Did they watch the game? What do you base that on? Columbus had more shots, same number of shots on target. They had a decided advantage in possession. They were better in passing accuracy. They were +5 in corners, committed fewer fouls, got no cards as opposed to 3 to Portland. Show me one thing in there that would give you any reason to believe that Portland dominated, let alone outplayed Columbus, because it's just not the way it was.
Yeah. Well, nevertheless, on to the next. Columbus and D.C., one of the league's great rivalries all time. D.C.'s also got a 2-game week. They're going to Allianz Field Sunday when they take on Minnesota United. Another trip around the sun for an MLS original. Dave Johnson, voice of D.C. United, radio voice of the Washington Wizards, and back on our show. How you doing, Dave?
Doing well. Glad that it is a DC United Columbus match. A year ago at this time, I remember being in Columbus, and we were not so sure it was going to be a DC Columbus match. But again, it means a lot to me personally that it is, because Columbus is one of the originals and one of the strong pillars that this league was built on. And as we look at the amazing success and talk about expansion all over the place and this and that, it was, simply put, franchises like Columbus and the early success, and like DC early success, both on and off the field, that made it possible for this league to grow to the point where it is right now. So I am glad we're talking about DC United at Columbus on Wednesday night.
Dave, every time we get together and have a chance to talk, I always like to ask you about memories from the early days, because as this league continues to grow, heading now towards 30 franchises, the newcomers, the youngsters, don't understand that the first, and I still think in many respects, the most complete dynasty was DC United. If I said right now, give me the first thing that pops into your head about the early days of your club, what would it be?
It would be Bruce Arena and the calculated designed by Kevin Payne to bring him on board, and then to build the club, and that was smart signings. And I remember in the early part of the '96 season when DC and I was not having a great deal of success, people would say, "Wow, he's a college coach. He can't coach it at the pro level," and he proved them wrong, because he got people in the right positions and the right type of players, and as that team was able to grow, it was able to build, if you will, the dynasty, because while a lot of teams at the same time, or other teams, I should say, there's only 10 teams to begin with, so it couldn't be a lot of teams, but you keep in mind that there was a short window for all these franchises to come together and build their rosters, and it was a great advantage to DC United to have somebody with the kind of feel and knowledge that Bruce Arena had, both just his general soccer knowledge, but also his knowledge for picking the right players in the right situations. I mean, the early days of this league, Marco Echeverri is one of the great stars of this league, but pairing him in the midfield with a Richie Williams, who I don't think was on a lot of people's radar, was a big part of the success. So he knew how to build a roster, and because of that, United was in the first 4 championship games.
Dave Johnson, TV voice of D.C. United, along with Dwight Burgess. They still have quarters for the payphone. Our guest here on Inside the Crew. Dave, the nostalgia goes back to last year, the knockout round playoff game, amazing atmosphere at Audi Field, and now the uptick. You mentioned Bruce Arena picking the right guys, and Ben Olsen was one of those guys, and now he's in his 9th year as head coach. Hard to believe. But this group right now, 4-2-2, Rooney signing in the summer, second best record since then, only behind Seattle. You've got Acosta. How long will he be around? Where do you get the sense of how this team has started? 3 shutouts to begin, now shut out in 3 of their last 4. Is the excitement there, though, with the new stadium and the fan base as this group is playing more soccer-esque ball under Ben Olsen than they have in the past?
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of excitement. I think it just, the record and the recent form, just as I was hearing you talk about your game against Portland, it's what makes, part of what makes Major League Soccer such a attractive league, maybe not for the coaches, but certainly for the fans, is that you can be humbled quickly and you can't get too high or too low. And one result doesn't necessarily, mean that the next result's not going to be better, or the flip side, the next result is going to be worse. I mean, look, DC United was flying high coming into its home game against LAFC and absolutely was spanked in a 4-0 loss. We just played a New York team that didn't seem like it knew its way and certainly was impressive in a 2-0 win. So, that's Major League Soccer, and especially the early portion of a season. You're never, you're always one step away from your next success or your next pothole, and that's what makes it, riveting drama. I think right now it's a DC United team that is dealing with some key losses. Russell Canals is injured and not playing. Joseph Moore, the left back, is not playing. It's caused them to, those are not glamour positions, defensive midfielder, left back, but then suddenly DC United's adjusting the lineup a little bit, and things are not flowing as smoothly as they were. And look, what they're dealing with are the same injuries every other club will deal with. But the point being is you can have a Wayne Rooney or Luciano Acosta and all of that. But if you have injuries at other positions, it can affect the way you dictate terms and dictate a game. And I think United has to figure that out, because it really has not been since the road win over Orlando really that impressive a stretch. I mean, there was a win on the road in this league is a big accomplishment. But if you look back at their win against Colorado, the 3 goals were scored in an 8-minute span. So outside of that, they were less than convincing. So it's a DC United team that doesn't hit Columbus, riding high and with a lot of swagger. But, when you got a guy like Wayne Rooney leading the show, again, just what I talked about, you're only one game away from getting it all right again.
Well, I know the Columbus fans are excited to see Wayne Rooney, because it's been one of the cities that a lot of these guys over the years didn't come to. They would take the week off and get a chance to see these guys up close. It's a home game for Columbus, but DC played on Sunday. I cannot remember, Dave, ever a regular season where a team would have to play Sunday and then Wednesday, particularly on Wednesday, against a team that didn't also play on Sunday. Can you think of that?
Well, there's a rumor going around, as you and I have our quarters for our payphones. They've actually developed computers and other things that can help you make the schedule. But
I've heard of those newfangled things.
Right, but in all seriousness, and this is a pet peeve of mine, and it's a head scratcher. The Major League Soccer scheduling is not good, and it affects the product on the field. And I think it's not talked about a lot. We talk about expansion, we talk about DPs and this and that, but I think about where it really hit home for me was actually in 2017 because of my son's high school graduation. I was flying out separately from the team to play. We were playing Vancouver, and on the way to Vancouver, I changed planes in Salt Lake City, but I could have changed planes in Denver or any other cities. We played Vancouver on a Saturday, then played in Orlando on a Wednesday. Now, if you take a look at a map, Vancouver and Orlando are not that close, and they're not that easy to get to each other. We ended up busing to Seattle to get a flight from Seattle to Orlando. Of course, we lost in Orlando, and then we had to turn around and play at home 2 days later against Chicago. So not only were you playing 3 games in 7 days, but you were doing it all sides of the continent. Recently, doing this 25 years, I don't ever remember playing a scheduled regular season game on a Tuesday night that was not July 4th. Well, recently, DC United had a situation where they played that LA game I mentioned on a Saturday and then had to turn around and play while they were still at home. They had to play on a Tuesday in April, which, by the way, is not a great night to be out, although we ended up having a great weather night. But in April in D.C. can be anywhere from 70 degrees to 30 degrees against Montreal. But in all seriousness, you're not going to get – it wasn't a good game, D.C. United Montreal. It was a 0-0 game, and it looked like two teams that were knackered, to use the English parlance. So I think we're not living – in the NASL, which I grew up in, with soccer teams sharing with baseball stadiums and having to schedule around that, and it seemed like they did a better job with the scheduling than what Major League Soccer does. I think it is an issue. I think it's and people I'll hear the argument that there's the Open Cup dates and there's the international windows, and I get it, but I mean it just seems that there's a better way to schedule games, and certainly DC is not the only one put in this position where you're getting put all over the country, and it's not a good thing. So it's a big challenge for both teams. But as you said, DC United just played Sunday. Monday's recovery day, Tuesday's the travel day. Hello, Columbus on Wednesday.
Yeah, and you look at the Columbus schedule, which is not the same situation, but 6 of their first 9 are at home, then 4 of their next 6 are away. The couple of games in that stretch that are home are both LA's back-to-back, and then they have like a 3-4 game homestand in June, and then they spend the second half of the season predominantly on the road.
No, and again, the point is, you're not getting the players' best performance, and that's the issue, and that's why the NBA tried to reduce the number of they still have them, but they tried to reduce the number of back-to-back games in close, even if you were playing Detroit one night, Boston the next night, it may be close proximity, whatever, and it doesn't matter that you're flying in those cases charter and 5-star hotels. The body is still saying, what the hell am I doing awake at 4 a.m? And then you turn around and try to play a game at 7 o'clock tonight. It quite frankly affects the product that you're going to end up seeing.
Dave Johnson, the longtime voice of D.C. United, 7:30 kick tomorrow at Mafre Stadium. Time for the weekly wager. 1996 VCR. We're putting it up so then either of you can watch back the inaugural game from April 13th, 1996.
I still watch the inaugural game from time to time. And
HTS, Home Team Sports,
it's right? This man's play-by-play. Columbus, we just did radio at that match.
Yeah. Well, I remember that night my good friend Gordon Bradley was my color commentator. I remember Doug Logan coming on at the first commissioner at halftime and just the excitement. Again, Columbus was one of the first success stories in terms of the fan support. Needless to say, obviously leading to the soccer-only stadium and et cetera. But in those early days, it was DC and Columbus were go-to cities for the ABC network or whatever, because you knew you were going to get a crowd there. You weren't so sure about Colorado or Tampa or other places, but you knew you were going to get the fans in DC and Columbus. And that's why I think there's also been while it has been a terrific rivalry, there's been a great kinship. I think as the people in Columbus and the fan base in Columbus went through, certainly some challenges last year, hoping that the team would remain in Columbus. I don't have this by an exact science, but as I looked on social media and just knowing the DC United supporters, there were probably no bigger supporters in another city that were happy and elated that Columbus still has the crew.
Who wins tomorrow?
That's a good question, and that's there's real trepidation. I think this is a DC United team that is going to is looking to get back after again a subpar performance against New York City FC. But I'd be lying if I said I had real doubts. I'd be lying if I said that for DC United, if they can get out of Columbus with a draw, it would be a good result.
Dave, look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thanks for this. It's always good talking to you.
Always good talking to you guys. Thanks so much. And again, I'm so thankful that the game is in Columbus.
You got it. We're looking forward to seeing you. That's Dave Johnson, TV voice of DC United. When we come back, we'll talk Dynamo. That's ahead for Columbus on the weekend. This is Inside the Crew, 97.1 The Fan.
The Fan's Bo Bishop and NFL and Buckeye linebacker James Laurinaitis. Bishop and Laurinaitis. Weekdays 10 to noon. Sports Radio 97.1 The Fan.
Hi, I'm Corbin with Weedman Lawn Care. Some of you may believe that lawn care companies are all the same. Nothing can be further from the truth. At Weedman, we go above and beyond, starting with the products we use. While some companies may use cheaper products, here at Weedman we use our own golf course quality fertilizer. We make your yard greener, thicker, and child-friendly. We truly care for our customers. Just ask Mike in Dublin, who says, "Ever since I began Weedman services, the lawn has never looked better." Go to weedmanusa.com for a free quote.
Chris Spielman and Mark Lobb here for your hometown team, Byers Mazda. Stop in and test drive a new Mazda today. Mazda vehicles combine style and performance with great fuel economy.
And at Byers Mazda, you'll get a premium vehicle without paying a premium price.
And you know, Mark, these Mazdas are just fun to drive.
I agree, Chris.
With 1.9% financing, now is the time to buy or lease a new Mazda from Byers Dublin Mazda. I-270 and Sawmill Road on Billingsley Road. Just look for the giant windmill. It's big. Online at buyersmazda.com.
Ohio, welcome to Save Yourself with Geico.
You go in for a hug, but the huggee pulls up for a handshake.
Okay.
You couldn't save yourself from the crushing inner cringe of a handshake-hug mix-up. But you could save yourself hundreds by switching your car insurance to Geico.
Yes.
You could save on motorcycle, boat, and RV insurance, too.
Nice.
Plus, the Geico Insurance Agency could help you save on homeowners and renters insurance.
Oh.
While your dopey arms, extended like a wounded bird, have become your biggest problem. You should know Geico is the second largest auto insurer in the country.
Okay.
Geico even offers 24/7 access to licensed agents and emergency roadside service.
Huh.
And while hugs don't always go as expected, you could expect your local Geico agent to help you save even more.
Ooh.
Like with federal and military discounts.
You couldn't save yourself the embarrassment of a handshake hug, but you could save yourself hundreds with Geico online, over the phone, or at your local office.
Golick and Wingo.
I like saying the aughts. I didn't even know that was what it's called. Or the zeros. What do you say? Because it's the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 10s. The aughts.
Golick and Wingo.
Presented by Mumu Express Car Wash.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on The Fan.
Julie Leslie, COO, The Howard Group.
Oscar was my fourth interview for Director of Operations. It was overwhelming running the day-to-day and being the COO as well, so I posted the job on LinkedIn. His profile was impressive, but what really connected with me was how passionate Oscar was about something as logical as operations. We started discussing Excel, that led to process flows, databases, agile development. When the interview became a geek out session, I knew we had to hire him. I don't know how we would have found Oscar without LinkedIn Jobs.
Find your next hire with LinkedIn Jobs. You'll reach people you won't find anywhere else. We look beyond job titles to learn who you're looking for. Then we match people with the right skills and experience to your role.
I thought we were looking for a Director of Operations, but we were really looking for an Oscar.
Start hiring with LinkedIn Jobs today. Go to linkedin.com/Columbus and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/Columbus for your $50 off. Terms and conditions apply.
If you have erectile dysfunction, you deserve to learn about all treatment options without an upfront fee. ED is a medical condition. Insurance should be discussed and accepted. Board-certified urologists offer all treatment options from pills and injections to an outpatient procedure. Consult with an ED specialist, not a men's clinic offering just one treatment option. Go to edcure.org to get more information and to find a urologist in your area. Again, that is edcure.org. Sponsored by AMS Men's Health, a part of Boston Scientific.
Come to the best Kentucky Derby party in Columbus. El Dorado Scioto Downs is the only place in Central Ohio to watch and wager on this big event. Celebrate on Saturday, May 4th and enjoy live music, fancy hat contests, and so much more. Hurry and purchase tickets now to our exclusive party while supplies last. Live harness racing returns to the Scioto Downs track on Tuesday, May 7th. Visit sciotodowns.com for more information. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Federal Elite Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Back to Inside the Crew. Here's Neil Sika and Dwight Burgess.
It's not a show without Good Charlotte. Sports Time Ohio is your home for both Crew games this week. Tomorrow against DC United. Houston on Saturday. That's an 8:30 Eastern kick. 8 o'clock pregame. Speaking of Saturday, last Saturday, as you were well aware, watching the Greener Goals Initiative, Adidas Parley jerseys, light shade of blue, dark shade of blue, which is cool, but it's just confusing watching every team in the league do that. So maybe they could have a few more varieties, but it's a great cause. Benefiting Local Matters and the Crew SC Foundation here in Ohio. And you can get in on the live auction for the game-worn jerseys that are signed. And that ends Thursday. ColumbusCrewSC.com/auctions. On Saturday, Columbus heads down to the Buffalo Bayou. Houston Dynamo, 4-1-1. Pretty good start to this season. This was a team that surprised some under Wilmer Cabrera, made a nice playoff run in 2017. Injuries really hampered them last year. They did win the Open Cup. They got into CONCACAF Champions League, went out in the quarterfinals to Tigres, who's in the final tonight, starting that first leg against Monterrey. Our guest has been working with Glenn Davis since he retired on Dynamo television broadcasts. He's an assistant coach with the Houston Dash, coached in the Academy, Best 11, 2007, four-time MLS Cup winner, and probably 6 years since he's been on this show. Eddie Robinson, should I keep going, or am I missing anything, Eddie?
Listen, I'm so old, I don't even remember most of that. So thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you. And this team first lost to L.A., but, you know, I'm looking at all the other MLS teams that went to the quarterfinals in the Champions League, and there's kind of that little withdrawal hangover, Eddie, but not Houston. Right now, they've played some pretty good ball, and as long as they stay healthy, you got to think they're going to be in the mix in the West.
I think they're going to be in the mix. The one thing that I'm trying to do is temper my expectations because, yes, the Dynamo have been playing very well. They've been scoring goals. They got to look at the teams that they've played: Colorado, Vancouver, Montreal, teams that are on top of their conference. Okay? This game against LA Galaxy this weekend was the first real test for the Dynamo this year. I mean, you can argue that Salt Lake, first game of the season, a 1-1 draw at home, is a very good Salt Lake team who is sitting, I believe, in 7th in the Western Conference currently, is a decent squad. But I think that now that the Dynamo are getting into the meat of their schedule and start playing some real quality teams, I think that's where we're going to see what they're made of, and if they're real contenders. Wilmer Cabrera, I think his biggest challenge in the offseason and coming into this year was figuring out a way to motivate Albert Solis, Mauro Manotas, and Ramon Kyoto, each of which there was some kind of interest from some European teams at different levels, all different levels. And all three of those players have made it well known that at some point they would like to continue their careers overseas. It didn't work out. So the question in the back of my mind, and I think a lot of fans' minds, was, how are they going to perform? Are they going to put it on cruise control and wait for the next transfer window? Or are they going to continue to push it and try to increase their value and increase their worth? And I think that came down to Wilmer Cabrera and his staff. And I think Albert Solis has been absolutely outstanding. Mauro Manotas has been outstanding, picking up where they left off last year. And then you've got the young Memo Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Ramon Kyoto gets injured. Memo comes in. He's getting his goals. He's getting his assists. The team's working hard. And I feel like 2 years ago, the Dynamo had a very solid center back pairing in Leonardo and Adolfo Machado. Those guys played, I think, 28 of the 34 regular season games together, somewhere around there. And I think that's something you need in Major League Soccer because of how much money is spent on attacking players, that you have to have quality in defense and consistency in defense. And I think that's something Wilmer Cabrera and his staff put together this year with Keke Struna and Maynard Figueroa. So they've got the defense worked out. They've got the attack worked out. Now it just comes down to consistency. And I think if they can stay consistent, as you just said, stay healthy, the Dynamo can be in the mix.
I think you make a great point about the schedule because that's applied different places. You know, the expansion team just 100 miles down the road from Columbus and Cincinnati, you know, they opened with Atlanta and they had Portland in there and, of course, Seattle. And people were kind of scratching their heads. And all of a sudden, FC Cincinnati comes out of there with points. Well, you know, Portland has struggled all season until they played Columbus anyway. You know, Atlanta is just a shell of what they were. So I think there's a lot of ball to be played. But the point I'm getting at is I think Houston may be the most underappreciated team in the league right now, but I'm not sure that that's a bad thing for Houston because they're just kind of going about their business. Is that fair?
Yeah, 100% fair. 100% fair. I mean, this team, Wilmer Cabrera is never going to try to make anyone think that they're anything that they're not. The Houston Dynamo, they're a counter-attacking team. They want to get their wide players one-on-one. They want to use their pace. They want to get crosses into the box and get more of a notice on the end of it. They want to fight and scrap defensively. They are who they are, and they don't deny that. And I think after last season, a lot of teams maybe take the Houston Dynamo a little bit lightly because I don't think the Dynamo lived up to their potential last year. And I think Wilmer Cabrera and a lot of the players will tell you that. They'll be the first to admit that they underachieved last year. And now that the season has started off so well, I mean, all of us know. I mean, you guys have been around Major League Soccer for long enough to know what confidence can do in this league, maybe more so than most top leagues in the world. And when a team is confident, they just figure out ways to get results, even if it's not pretty. And I think that that's something that the Houston Dynamo may be onto because the game against Montreal, it wasn't the prettiest, but they got a result. The game against Vancouver wasn't the prettiest, but they got a result. The first game of the season against Salt Lake, it wasn't the prettiest, but they didn't lose. And I think that's the sign of a good team, a playoff team, is getting results when you don't play your best. It can be ugly, but you have the attitude, you have the fight, you have the scrap, you have the grit and determination to eke something out.
Eddie Robinson, one of his many hats through the years, including being in the North Carolina Soccer Hall of Fame. He's the TV analyst for the Houston Dynamo, joining us here on Inside the Crew. Is Elise here beyond the summer?
If he keeps playing the way that he is, I cannot see it. I think that the Dynamo valued him a little bit higher than the Turkish clubs that came in for him. But I think if he continues to do what he's doing, and I spoke to someone that you guys know very well last week, Brian Dunseth and Tony Miola. I jumped on their SiriusXM show and I posed the question to them when we were playing all these years ago in Major League Soccer. Was there a forward or a winger that was so powerful with so much pace that it maybe inspired a little bit of fear in defenders as much as Albert Elise does? Nobody wants to go one-on-one with him. There are a lot of guys that won't admit it publicly, I don't believe, but my goodness, if he can just hone everything a little bit more, because we know that Major League Soccer, it's not the Premier League, it's not La Liga, it's not Liga, it's not the Bundesliga, but it's getting closer, it's getting closer, it's getting closer. And if this guy can continue to do what he's doing and just keep wowing people up, I can't see it. I cannot imagine that an offer won't come in that the Dynamo can't turn down. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a business.
Yeah.
No matter how bad you want to keep your best players, if the money's enough, you can reinvest it. You can get a player to replace him, and you can invest extra money elsewhere. So,
word to the wise: if you're an MLS up and comer, don't go to Turkey. That's for sure.
Yes.
I was going to mention, because going to Turkey as compared to MLS, I mean, the big thing is you got at least a chance. If Galatasaray, for example, you might be able to get into some European competition, but on a league level alone, you're not going up when you go to Turkey.
Yeah. Eddie, we're up against a break. Dynamo have this week to rest. Crew playing Wednesday. What do you suspect happens as they come down to Houston on Saturday?
Well, Caleb Torrey, he's smart. He's a very smart man. I think he's going to manage the roster very well. I think that the weather's not going to be too hot yet for Columbus, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think that Columbus is going to be very well prepared, and I think if the Dynamo can get the counterattack going, can push, Columbus might be a little bit tired, so if the game gets late and it's close or it's even, maybe the Dynamo pulls something out, but I know that Columbus is going to be prepared, and it's not going to be easy for Houston, but they need 3 points to keep pace in the Western Conference.
Great stuff. Eddie Robinson, Dynamo TV analyst here on Inside the Crew. Great catching up with you, Eddie. We'll talk to you later this weekend.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me.
When we come back, we'll put a bow on the show. Dwight will give his thoughts on what he expects over the next 72 hours or so. It's Inside the Crew on 97.1 The Fan.
Radio. It opens your mind to stimulating conversation and live sports. And best of all, it still costs $0. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
For over 70 years, Mafre Insurance has been offering Ohio customers a full range of insurance solutions for their home and automobiles in partnership with a broad network of independent agents, helping you get the right insurance for your cars and homes, along with extra coverage like umbrella insurance, is what we pride ourselves on. Contact your independent agent to learn more about what Mafre can do for you, or visit mafreinsurance.com/crewsc.
Finding your beach with a Corona can sounds exactly the same as finding your beach with a Corona bottle. To prove it, listen as this man relaxes with the Corona can. Well, this man has a Corona bottle. Can. Bottle. Once more, the Corona can. Well, they still sound almost exactly the same. The Corona can. Another way to find your beach. Please drink responsibly. Corona Extra Beer. Imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
We can't all be Tiger Woods, or Jason Day, or 2018 winner Bryson DeChambeau. But one thing is for sure, we are all fans of 1 week, when the world's top golfers come to Muirfield Village Golf Club. Because for fans and pros alike, there's always something to get excited about at the Memorial Tournament presented by Nationwide. Buy a badge, be a fan. May 27th through June 2nd. Purchase your badge at memorialbadges.com.
Hey Columbus, Jake Ballard here with Howard Hanner Lincoln Group. Since retiring from the NFL, I've been helping people all around the greater Columbus area buy and sell homes for the last 5 years. As your realtor, it's my job to protect your best interest, fight to get you top dollar, and to help find a dream home for you and your family. We currently have lots available in Galena to custom build your home in both Olentangy and Big Walnut schools. Find me on Facebook at Jake Ballard Realtor, and let me help you accomplish all your home buying and selling goals.
Common Man here for Diamonds Direct. You know Diamonds Direct prices are unbeatable every day, but this Friday through Sunday, they're even lower. That's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You've been hearing about this, the biggest store-wide sale of the year, bar none, Diamonds Direct's first ever spring event. 3 days of extra special value. This is huge. You save an extra 20% and more on rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, colored gemstones. Virtually everything is on sale. Yes, 20% below Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable prices. And the selection is like double the normal jewelry store. Entire designer collections have been flown in for this. Yes, I've been on the private plane with the jewelry. No, I wasn't. Brand new bridal and fashion jewelry from the best brands in the world, and it's all on sale. I'm on sale, too. You can take me home for a cheaper price. There's only one catch. It's 3 days only. This Friday, Saturday, and yes, even open on Sunday. Don't miss it. Best prices of the year. Diamonds Direct. Check them out on Polaris Parkway. DiamondsDirect.com.
Did you know that April is Donate Life Month? Lifeline of Ohio, as well as many other partners from around the country, create activities throughout the month of April to educate and encourage people to register as organ, eye, and tissue donors, as well as celebrate those who have saved and healed lives through the gift of donation. There are over 117,000 men, women, and children awaiting life-saving organ transplants, and another person is added to that list every 10 minutes. Be the difference. Register as an organ, eye, and tissue donor today by visiting lifelineofohio.org. Click on the Register tab. It's easy and takes less than 2 minutes. So what can you do to help increase organ, eye, and tissue donation? First, register your decision online at lifelineofohio.org. Then tell your family and friends about your decision to donate life. And finally, ask those friends and family members if they are registered donors. Help Lifeline of Ohio and donate life. Celebrate the gift of life and sight by becoming a donor today. Visit lifelineofohio.org today to register and learn more.
Back to Inside the Crew. Here's Neil Sika and Dwight Burgess.
One of the great bands from D.C. As we're hitting stoppage time on this show. Back with you next week, 9 o'clock, where we'll talk more D.C. United and other things. Congrats to the Crew Academy U17s in the Premier Division of the Generation Adidas Cup. They lost in the semifinals. That prestigious tournament down in Texas, well done there. Seattle actually won the championship division. Boy, have they had some success in their academy. But that's a good run for the Crew Academy as well, which has had their spoils through the years. Mentioned all these home games coming up. How about this? 2 matches in 4 nights in May. Weather's going to be good. I know it. I know it.
Holding you to it.
Zlatan is coming with the LA Galaxy and the great Schelotto leading them. They've won 5 in a row. And then LAFC, who's taken the league by storm, is just 4 days later. That's not kind to the schedule for the Crew, but they get those teams at home. All the ticket options, visit the website, 614-447-CREW. CB at the controls. Thanks so much for your work tonight, Dave Johnson and Eddie Robinson, 2 really good guys, and enjoy listening to both of them. Dwight, they gave their predictions. Now with the Crew having dropped the game to Portland, you're thinking 4 points in a stretch of these 2 games somewhere or the other before it's all said and done if they're looking to stay where they are in the East.
I think 4 points is probably a reasonable expectation at this point. DC United's waiting to get back on track. They have a little bit shorter rest. We talked about that. Going to Houston is never easy. And correct, it's not the middle of the summer, but it's still going to be humid. It's an Eastern Conference game. So they've got to find a way to put up more lights on the scoreboard tomorrow than DC United does. And then you worry about what you're going to do, in Houston. But you don't want to start a span of 8 days, 3 games in 8 days by not winning either of the 2 home games back to back. That's not a good omen for what's coming next.
Sports Time Ohio, television home of the Crew tomorrow at 7:30, 8:30 on Saturday against Houston. And of course, all the radio action is right here, 97.1 The Fan with Chris Doran. Colin Behringer, thank you. Thank you for listening. Dwight?
Neil?
I'll see you. We'll talk to you next week on Inside the Crew.
All Buckeyes, all the time. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Your flagship home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Papa John's believes it's good to be different, so we've added 6 new pizzas to our handcrafted specialty menu, because no one rolls with an all-cheese crew. So get together and figure out who's a meatball and pepperoni and who's an ultimate pepperoni, who's a flying Hawaiian or a zesty Italian, and who gets the title of Mr. or Miss Congeniality, the pepperoncini. That's all the ingredients you need for a good time. And right now, get any large specialty for just $12. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. At participating U.S. stores, taxes and delivery fee extra.
From the opening kickoff through the 90th minute, your Columbus Crew SC never stops battling to secure a victory. And at Medical Mutual, we never stop working to provide high-quality health insurance plans for individuals, families, and businesses throughout Ohio. Every day, our goal is to offer members an extensive network of doctors and hospitals and award-winning service. As the official health insurer of the Columbus Crew SC, we're happy to assist you with a scoring plan that meets your needs. Visit medmutual.com/CrewSC.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Common Man here. Right now, for every window you buy, you get the next one free. No limits and 0% financing for 36 months. Call 614-221-0700 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Blue Jacket Buzz.
After playing the last few years in the KHL in Russia, defenseman Vladislav Gavrikov has signed a contract with the Blue Jackets and could play in round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I'm so excited. I'm so proud to be here, meet the guys, coaches, and other stuff. So it's a big moment for me. I need to work more before I want to play here. It's the next level for me. I need to work harder.
With the Blue Jackets Buzz, I'm Bob McElligott.
When it comes to value, it's only a good deal if you get what you want. And with the $1, $2, $3 menu at McDonald's, you always will. At At McDonald's, you can choose the food and beverages you love at a price you'll love even more. Finally, a value menu that values your choice.
And now you can get 2 juicy McDouble burgers for just $3. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Cloud-based premium accounting software and full-service payroll for up to 100 employees.
PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Broadcasting from the Compare Quote Insurance Studios.
They do the shopping, you do the saving. Compare Quote Insurance 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 saving.